Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's start today's lesson, all right? Yeah, arithmetic progression. How about extra set of something? Oh no, it's at the printer. At the printer. Okay, guys. You have two types of progressions that you need to remember. One is arithmetic, the next one is geometric. You don't even need to remember the quadratic one because quadratic is for normal maths. Okay. In here, you only be asked for two things, arithmetic and geometric, and you have basically two sets of formulas to remember lah. For this formula here, which is going to be given in your exam papers, this is the term formula. And this is your sum formula. Okay? Term formula and then sum formula here. Basically, all you have to do is recognize what the values inside are lah. So let's start. What is the A value in the term formula here? Actually, it's same. A is your first term. It's the first term. Huh? 对 Justin, 三个有没有在？
So you got a system.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, what about D? What is D? What is D? No, you. D for what we want to say, Master? Never mind, wrong answers only. Anything other than dick. She say not I say she say seriously. Correct. D is the difference in terms, okay? The difference in terms. Okay, then at the bottom here, for the sum formula, you have N, you have L. What do you think N is? 这个 N is? Okay, what's to calculate sum, right? Let's just say we look at this example here, 5, 9, 13. If you want to calculate the sum of 5, 9, 13, right? What do you think the N value would be? Yes, correct. The number of terms. Number of terms, okay? So in this case, if we wanted to add these three up, then the N would be 3. If we only wanted to add 2 up, then the N would be 2. Okay? Then over here, you have one random thing, which is L. What do you think this L is for? If you guys have already learned it in school, what do you think this L is for? 你学过吗这个 chapter? 没有学过 Okay, so it's going to be U4 already. Back to you now. No, never mind you 啦，给你一个机会讲话啦。The last term, but specifically, this formula is for what usage? Because normally we're going to be using this formula if we're doing for sum, right? But what is the usage of this formula here? Wrong answers. 我以为你要答我答案。This formula, wait guys, listen up, Brenda. This formula is actually to help you find the term if you're looking for the sum in between. So for example, let's just say 5, 9, 13, 17, and then like 21, right? Let's say I don't want to add the sum from the 5th to the 20, from 5 to 21. I only want to add from 9 to 17.
Hi, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
It is 9 and 17. 9 is your A. A goes to 9.
And what's this permutation?
L is going to be...
Permutation, bro. This one is number arithmetic, bro. This is arithmetic progression.
New top. Oh, arithmetic. Never mind.
How noisy are you? Shut up. Where is this?
Can't see. Screen so small.
This is your school.
Hey, hello.
Internet.
Shut up. Very noisy. Mute out this guy. Okay, so like I was saying, guys, A, in this case, because we only want to add up 9 to 17, we don't want to add up from 5 all the way to 21, okay? In this case, A will be equals to 9, and L is your last term, okay? the last term in the sequence that you want to add. L will be 17. Then in here, the n for your first part is again n equals to 3 because we only want to add up the second to the fourth term. Make sense that way? Anyone don't get this part? Okay, okay. So this formula is for you to count when you want to count in between. Then this formula is normal. In this case, let's say you want to add up everything, then 5 here, A would also be 5, and 5, D, 4, like that. Substitute only. That's why I say this chapter is actually really brain dead. All you have to do is follow the formula, you're done already. Okay? 可以吗？明白吗？要讲多一次吗？要讲多一次吗？我讲多一次可以。整个讲多一次啊。Okay? So to summarize everything that I just said one more time, this formula is to find the term, okay? Let's look at this as an example. 5, 9, 13, then the next one is going to be 17, then 21, and so on and so forth, okay? If I'm looking for the, let's say this term 1, term 2, 3, 4, 5, let's say I'm looking for the 7th term, okay? If I'm looking for U7, which is term 7 now, okay? Okay, let's just say, oh, this is U, okay? If I'm looking for the 7th term, in here, my A is 多少? How much is A here? 5 plus N is which term I'm looking for? I'm looking for the 7th term. So it's 7 minus 1. Then the D, in this case here, D is how much? In this case here, D is 4 times 4. Then I will be able to find the 7th term, which is 5 plus 6 times 4, 24. The 7th term is going to be 29. Okay, makes sense, right? Then, let's say if I'm for 5, 9, 13, 17, 21, I want to find the sum of it. The sum of it, using this formula, is now 1 over 2. 5 numbers, I want to find the 5 numbers of the sum, right? So it's 5 times 2. A is 5 again, plus N is 5 minus 1 times D. Okay? Then calculating for this, I would have 10 plus 16, 26 times 2.5. 65, I think. Wait, can we do some maths? Is it? Nah, take the calculators. Correct. 36 times 2.5, 65. Okay? So this is if you're looking for all 5 terms. But this formula that I mentioned is when you want to look for in the middle, correct or not? So in the middle, let's say I want to add up from here to here, 9 to 17. But of course, the number can be bigger. I'm just showing you an example. So the formula would be 1 over 2 times N in this case is how much? Close out. Look, add up these 3 terms.用这个 formula, add up these 3 terms. Because it's 3 terms, N would be 3 only. Okay? Multiplied by A, in this case, because I'm again only adding up these 3 terms, A is 9. L is the last term, so plus 17. Okay? Type this into your calculator, 3 over 2 times 26. This would equals to 39. Okay? Which you can prove by adding 9 plus 13 plus 17. You will get 39. 可以明白吗？这样子 Okay? 可以吗？ Alright, guys. Anyone? Any more question on this first part here? Like, hold your hand like this. Okay? 没有的话可以来吵一下啦 if you want. But this chapter is constantly just following back to the formula only. except for one concept here with sum to infinity. Only one concept that you need to understand only. The rest of it just brain dead follow formula. Okay? Now, I'm going to explain the next part. Explaining for the next part, look guys, in the next part here is your geometric series. Geometric series is when they have a multiplier by multiplier by multiplier. So in this case, look, the multiplier here is times 3, and then times 3 here, right? Just now here is plus, plus, plus 4, plus 4. But here, the geometric series, the multiplier is always the difference is always a multiplier. You multiply them. Then in here, again, you just have to identify what is the A. The A is similar to just now. It's your first term. A is your first term. What about R? What do you think R is? Ratio? What is it? Did you say ratio? It is. I just didn't hear you clearly. Why you doubt yourself? It is ratio. So what is the formula for the ratio? It's term 2 over term 1. So for example, you see here, term 2 is 6 over 2. The ratio is 3, right? Which is basically the multiplier. Ratio is term 2 over term 1. But it works even if it is term 3 over term 2. Or even term 4 over term 3. This is within one of the questions that you will be needing to solve. You can use term 2 over term 1, or term 3 over term 2, or term 4 over term 3. Basically, the next term over the last term. Okay, the next term over the last term. No quadratic in maths. Okay, only quadratic is only in normal maths. Anyway, now the formula works exactly the same, so I'm not going to talk about this, nor am I going to talk about this. But I want you guys to listen now, to sum to infinity. How does sum to infinity work? Looking at the formula, who can explain to me how does sum to infinity work? Why does it mean modulus of R must be less than 1? What does it mean? Me? 最有机会你啊 Okay, why? Okay, let me tell you what it means for the R to be between 1 and -1. If it is either 1 or -1, let's use a box as a concept, okay? If we times the box by anything greater than 1, 1.2, that means the next one is going to be slightly bigger, then the next one even more slightly bigger, then the next one even more slightly bigger, right? And if we try to sum this all up, what will we end up in the end? Think about it. If this one is 1, then it's 1.2, then it's 1.44, then we keep adding, trying to add everything up, the sum to infinity. What do you think the ultimate answer, the sum value would be? Infinity. You will get like infinite amounts of numbers. So that's why the R cannot be anything greater than 1. But instead, if the R, right, if the R value was something less than 1, let's say it's 0.5 is the easiest example. The next one is going to be half of that value, right? And the next one is going to be half of that, and then half of that, then half of that, then half of that. In terms of numbers, this is 1, 0.5, 0.25, 0.125, 0.0675, and then 0.03 something 375, something like that, okay? What will happen if I keep adding this and this and this and this and this and this? As I continue going downwards and downwards, eventually, right, my number is going to be 0.00 something, then 0.0000 something, 0.00. This means, right, up to this point, I will never affect the ultimate value, which will be probably less than 2 or even like 2.1 or something like that. Can you imagine? This next value, even I continue adding the next smaller numbers, it will not exceed a total value of 2. 1 plus 0.5 plus 0.25 plus 0.125 plus 0.000080. Your ultimate value will not reach 2. Can you guys imagine that? Anyone? Cannot? Need me to help you visualize a little bit more? Anyone cannot? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? Okay, so that's why with progressions that are less than 1, meaning to say getting smaller and smaller, that's why it has to be 1 or even -1. When the progression is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, you can get a sum to infinity. If it is anything greater than 1 or -1, okay, you will get the sum to infinity is infinity. But in this case, when it is less than 1 and -1, the sum to infinity is a solid number. It's not like infinity or something. Make sense? Make sense? Okay, okay? So that's the only concept that you need to imagine. Okay, that's the only concept that you need to imagine. Right? Now, then let's try with some questions. In your progression chapter, most of the time you are only forming equations, and then from the equations solve your equation. All right, let's look at this first question here. An arithmetic progression. So if you don't remember the formula, it's okay because you can always go back into your exam paper and look for it. An arithmetic progression has a second term of -4 and a sum to 21 terms of 84. Find the first term of the 21st. Find the first term and the 21st term of this progression. What are the equations, like I said, that you need to form with the information given? First equation. Sn is equals to but this is just the formula. At least you need to substitute something in, right? Okay, this is the formula that we're going to use, but actually this is the second formula. You skipped out on this first part already. But never mind, let's move on with here first. This is the thing that she's talking about right now. A sum to 21 terms of 84. What should I do here? I should substitute the values of this 84. This is a sum, so 84 goes here. Okay? And then sum to 21 terms. So 21 goes here. Right? This is my first equation already. Then notice how many unknowns do I have? 2 unknowns. In order for me to solve these 2 unknowns, what do I need? I need another equation with these 2 unknowns, right? Which, like I said, is your first equation here. So coming back to your first equation, what's the equation for the first equation? The second term is -14. Yeah, you don't know the difference. The difference is the unknown, and the first value is the unknown. That's why, like I said, you're forming equation first, Look, Brenda, the second term, okay, is actually A plus B is equals to -14. You see, if I simplify this and I use this, I have 2 equations and I can solve it using simultaneous equations. Okay? Now, also one thing I want you guys to realize now, for arithmetic sequence, everyone look, arithmetic sequence, your first term is always A. Your second term is always A plus D. Your third term, eh? Oh, then going forward, A plus 3D, 4D, 5D, da, 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 da. Okay, so these are some basic things that can help you speed up answering these type of questions. So because they say the second term, so I will use A plus D equals to negative 14. Okay? So now I actually have these two equations already. A plus D equals to negative 14 and 84 equals to 21 over 2 times 2A plus 20D. 84 is equals to 21A plus 210D. This is my first equation, and then this is my second equation. From here, I just have to do simultaneous equation and solve it. In fact, from here, you can type into the calculator and give me the A and the D value already. In NMATS, there is no marks for simultaneous equation working. It's answers already straight away from here. Someone answer. Shut up. Go help whoever cannot hear you. Who don't know how to type the simultaneous equation into the calculator? 你也不会啊。Okay, come forward. 不会啊。你会看，好，有拜拜了。看不过来，这个要上课了。不看。Now, everyone look back up. First, you go into your menu. You go into your menu. Then, equations here, you will be able to see the two options, simultaneous and polynomial. Obviously, polynomial is for the quadratic part, isn't it? Then we're doing simultaneous one. So they will ask you how many unknowns. How many unknowns there here? Two unknowns, right? Then what is X is actually you must fix one. It doesn't have to be A or D, but you must fix it first. In this case, let's say X is A. Then my first equation is 1, and negative 14. Everything equals that number. Then the next equation is what? Next equation is going to be 21 equals 210 equals and 84 equals. And I will get X, which is my A, is equals to negative 16, and D, which is my Y, is equal to 2. I will get the answer from there. Hey, everyone, try typing and see. Looking at me doing it is different now. Try typing and see if you can get there. Wait, you also did not do this? Of course I know. What the hell? No way, right? Most no way.
你的指甲是你第一件，还是你老婆帮你剪的？
我敢问你觉得简单？
你先说吧，我怕得罪你老婆。
literally 是我自己的，然后
真丑啊！
我说
跟狗很牛呀！
你太多，我真的。你跟我们台湾给你回对，
都说他得罪你老婆了，
开玩笑，你自己也是在位，拍照我来讲。然后比如说我的अनु两个咯，3个咯，然后你要从这里follow the equation, okay? Even though this is not arranged properly, 这个是 x， 这个是 y， 然后这个也是 c。X, Y, C. Okay, type it into your calculator, then you can get the answers from there. Stretch that form. Anyone still don't know how to type it? Try show the later. Okay, man. Go. 看不到，这会有人问。第二个啊，第一个是这个，第二个是这个啊，它是要跟着次序啊，A 先，然后才 B，然后才那个号码。OK。So if you can type it into the calculator already, what was the A value again? -16, and the D value was 2. If you can type this in, you have the first part of your question. They ask for the first term, which is A, and then they ask for the 21st term. So 21st term is when you substitute the next equation. U21 is equals to A. Wait, what was it again? I actually don't remember this formula. 21 minus 1 D. Then calculate for this, you will get your second question. I mean, second answer. Make sure to read the question properly. A lot of times you guys will miss it and then just end here. 40 minus 16, 24. Anyone with any questions? Just now when I was talking inside, you can hear me very loudly. Is Gabriel talking very loud? Okay, anyway, next question. Next question, you. The sum of the first 4 terms of the arithmetic progression is 38. The sum of the next 4 terms is 86. Find the first term and the common difference. How to do? Okay, give me the formula then. 1/2. Don't end anymore already lah. Please lah. It's given here already. Not n. 4. Then 3D. Right? I skipped the minus part already, wait, guys. Then okay, that's your first equation. All right, simplify this. You have 2 times 4a plus 6d is equals to 38. Simplify already. All right, this is your first equation. The second equation, who am I going to ask next if he doesn't answer?
How to find the difference?
Heaven lah. Just like that question, now you got first equation only, you need to form your second equation. The tip is you can use the hint that I gave Brenda just now to find the next part. For the next 4 terms.
A plus D.
A plus D equal to? What the fuck?
4A plus A.
That's the first part already. Eh, 刚才我问你还是问他啊？第一题我忘记了。你啊，你了 ，next 啊。下一个怎么样？下个 equation 我要怎么找？ The next four terms. Term 8 minus term 4. Correct.
You're finding T5 to T9, right?
Well, T5 to T8.
Or T5 to T?
Yeah, next four terms, huh?
Oh, so T9 minus 4. Probably.
You use 8 plus n.
8
8 plus n.
A plus 1 minus.
N.
Okay, then I'll get what?
Can you use it?
Okay.
N is 4 and then 8 and then 2. So equals to 3.
Okay, you guys want me to show you the very dumb way to do it. The very dumb way to do it. Not what he said. Okay, that's the smart way, obviously. What's the dumb way? The dumb way is I know that I'm looking for the term 8, which I don't know what that value is, and the term 5, right, to use for this formula here. Correct. So imagine 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the next form. So I need to add up this next 4, right? Okay. So what do you think the value of this 5 is in terms of A and D? Like I told Brenda earlier, A, then you have A plus D, then so on and so forth. You have A plus 4D. This is this term, right? A plus 4D. And this term is A plus 7D. Correct. Right? Makes sense, right? So from here, I can just use this formula 1 over 2 times 4, because there's 4 terms, with the first term being A plus 4D, plus with the last term being A plus 7D. This is equals to 86. Does this make sense to you? I'm using this formula for the 5th term and the 8th term. And now I have my unknowns already, and I simplify further, I can get my answer already. Over here is 2, inside here is 2A plus 11D, 86 divided by 2 is 43. This is my second equation, right? Which method you use? 这个，你用这个 Shit, you're just as dumb as me. Anyway, the smart way is what he said earlier. The sum of the sum to 9. Sum to
6, 7, 8, 9, T9 minus T4.
sum or not T.
I mean, yeah, S9 minus
S. Is it 9?
minus this one.
4, correct. Sum 8. Sum of 8. So sum of 8. S8 minus S4, yeah. It's S8 minus S4. So you can use this, which is much longer, the formula. Okay, much longer, like this. Then you can end up getting this also. But I mean, for me, this way is more straightforward. I literally can imagine the numbers like that already. Shit, 难道我不小心用 smart way? Which one is more dumb? This way is more dumb? Really?
I mean, I feel like it takes more to understand which numbers to put inside. That's the
Whichever way whichever way you guys prefer huh? Okay, and then from here, solve the simultaneous equation. A equals to, in the calculator, five and 不会啊，刚才我讲的是你们来玩电话 right？嗯。Everyone try out the others. Try the rest of the questions here.
Five spaces.
Menu. Down, down. This is where you usually go solve quadratic, right? But instead of polynomial, then how many unknowns? And type in. Yes. Oh, 这个是 S8. Sum of the 8 terms minus the sum of the 4 terms. Can somebody just try this out in case I made a mistake? Can somebody just try this in case I made a mistake here? Oh, okay, now my assistant do it. But it should look right. My theory, my way. Okay, try the rest of the questions. I'm going to give you guys like 15 minutes to try like maybe 2 or 3 questions. Now I want to move on to geometric questions already. 15 minutes.
Aromatic 就是一个还有啊，是吗？打我就是有的那个 aromatic 就是
对
我的这个对
啊，什么 A plus
是这样的，
是 A plus
我那个是 quadratic，这个是简单一点的一个，我这个还比那个简单一点。对呀，为什么我没看懂？因为你从来都没有上过课。不是，所以你刚才说的那什么 arrow 什么东西，到底是什么 arrow？你不刚刚说那个 arrow 什么东西？
这个一般的那个不听的人，
我不知道那个 arrow 是什么。
不知道你在问什么啊。
上个跨学然后我都不知道，还跨在三学的东西。
没有，那个为什么你会知道这个是有加的区分？
所以你这里哪个是哦 aromatic
对，这个 concept 反正我们从 concept 不会那么简单，
这个不是 pattern，
所以是 pattern，是你的 pattern。But from here 我们是用这些 formula 来让这些对对对。但是那样好像
在一般嘛。
对，我们好像现在是可以研发方式。我们数学不算是没有方式啊，
我跟他又不是一个班，我跟他不是一个班的。
对。
我们的数学老师是一个40多岁的中年大妈。
然后
还有没有教来？
然后我们数学老师好像下一年课程。
张飞老师
啊，
张飞老师，
伤心，
张飞，
唱 K 可以啊，唱 K 啊，很久没有唱 K 了。
带你带我老婆去，
啊，
带你带我老婆去，我老婆也是
可以啊。 对呀，你的人是
我试一下。
要不然到时候等 Kelly 回来，我们就去唱。我都没有看到，我都不知道有这种东西。我整天在家就是吃完之后就睡觉哦。
因为这个全部都是我们 MS 全部全面的讲的啊。
全学过了。
哦，
就是因为看的那几个嘛。
除了这个 Postgres 的部分，
你可以看下面就是页。
我的 X， 完了，不要是他。
这个光点全部是 MS 我们
我怎么一个都不知道呢？
这个人点。
我还学了2年，完了，毁了呀，毁吧。最爱你的人是我。
第一个主人。
我带了。
呀呀呀呀！
对。我没有学过。对。
来学代理。
那我们还要开 ID 吗 ？OK。
什么时候开呢？
就是这个你要调一下。下个月哦。
什么时候？
可能8月份吧，或者
下午不行吗？3点钟、2点钟。
礼拜4吧。
你有工作？你的工作不是交通吗？
要是不够钱用的，就去找打回来给我们。
哇，所以你真的最多打2份工吗？
我打2份啊。
你打3份吗？你会跑外卖吗？
我就是搞外卖啊。
你真的在跑外卖吗？
外卖的 delivery。
对。
那你有的什么？
我有些。
那是销售啊。
哦。
你的。
我这个好销的。
你卖房吗？
我卖车啊。
卖车。
要买房吗？
我买个屁房啊！我买房，我上来给你掏100来万呗。
对，这个5万。
啊，没有啊。
今晚所以可以去的。
今晚不知道，今晚我还没有看。
不是流动的，有一天啊。
没有啊，我本来是打的是法国啊，但是I was thinking that it's like 5 months matches so 我没有拿主意啊，但是我本来想是。
你要看一个World Cup啊，如果你实货有那个$100啊，不赢钱，overall。
谢。就是今天那个Argentina和那个沙地2队，那个时候那个
我是不是打到反正我就是我那个打完，
谁知道啊？
那么你自己反正到时候你看的。
我真的是看到有人跳舞了呀。
哦，这个是吗？
我看一下中文。
这个反正基本上。
哦。英伦是指这个应该是英伦吧，但是我觉得可能是平，然后加分在对不对？
还没这个。
明天是还有一个是3点的，然后这边就是
你发送什么？
我炸这个，掉了。不要有这个人讲啊！让我快答一下。 啊，都还没有上到一半呢，谁不想？嗯，不，
哇，是个小问题。这个地方怎么写成这样？
打手不到我们OK 的，有点A is here, 1 is here. And it eats the Y and B. Go and do 9, something here. Then B. And call it B. Cool. Divide the X below. One, find the gradient. And then subdivide the points and then solve for C.
So then I got
Absolutely not. Okay, time to do some looking on the questions. 做了吗？第三、第四题。An arithmetic progression has a term of 7 and a common difference of 0.4. A is 7, B is 0.4. Find the least number of terms so that the sum of progression is greater than this. Sum of progression 1 over 2 n 2a plus n minus 1 d is greater than 300. From here, just bring the things over first all. Half bring over, you have n 14 plus n minus 1, open the bracket, 0.4 n minus 0.4 greater than 600. Expand the bracket further, 0.4 n square plus 13.6 n minus 600 is greater than 0. Right? I think I saw you do the same thing, right? You have this exact equation, right? Then what's the problem? It's from here, solve it. Solve it, n equals to how much? It's the same lah, because like your answer is probably a multiplier of my answer here only. Yours is probably like 0.8 and then like 27.2, is it? Oh, 25.3 and 0.
The one with the-
No, give the
oh, second one is negative 59.29.
negative 59.29. So you see, if I sketch this out, this is a quadratic, right? If I sketch this out, I have here negative 59.3 and here 25.3 greater than 0. So as my final answer, n must be either greater than 25.3 or n must be less than negative 59.2. Greater than 0, so it's this part and this part, right? But it says, of course, I cannot have a term that's 25.3, right? So the term that has to be greater than 300 is, because if it's 25, I haven't reached 300 yet. 25.3, I ngam will reach 300. It must be greater than 300, then it's the 26th term. Okay? Anyone else didn't get this part? Next question. An arithmetic progression has a second term of 8 and the fourth term of 18. So what equation will I form here? Back to you. Second term, fourth term. I tell you already, it's this. First term is A, second term is A plus D, third term, fourth term, A plus 3D.
Then A minus eight minus 8. The first term is second term is 8. So answer is 8 plus 8.
A plus D is equals to 8. And then A plus 3D is equals to 18. Solve for A and B first. A equals to 对吧？ Then only the next part of the question, find the least number of terms which the sum of this progression is greater than 1560. So it's exactly the same working as up here already, ma. After you found this, the working is exactly the same here, just with different A and B value. Okay. 那个是 fourth term 吗 Okay, look, this is term 1, term 2, then term 3 是 A plus 2D, then term 4是 A plus 3D 吗？哎，明白吗你？这个 part， 这个 part 明白吗？ then 下一个 part 做了吗？再做过。Like I said, the next part is the exact same working there. Greater than 1560. Then once again, n 6 plus 5n minus 5 is greater than 3120. The n value first, you got the, hey, this is part of the working, the n value, give me the two answers first. Of course, n square, No, the working is you show both first. What's the n value when you solve for this? Hey, this one is important. Like this one literally gives you marks in the working one.
4.8
and minus.
0.08.
Okay, so once again, we draw the graph out. It will look like this. So n is greater than 24.8 and n is lesser than 25.1. N is ultimately equals to 25. Okay, I'm going to move on to geometric sequence already. With. Jump to question number 7. So in question number 7, you're applying the same rules. You identify the unknowns first, and then you go and try to do it. Let's talk about the terms first, right? A geometric progression has a second term of 27p squared and the fifth term of p to the power of 5. What is the equation for these two here? What's the first term for a geometric progression? It's still a, right? Then the second term is? The second term is? Huh? The second term? A 什么 A minus, 这个 geometric 了啊。The next term is AR. Then the next term is AR square, AR cube, and so on and so forth. Correct or not? The second term is 27p square, right? So AR is equals to 27p square. The fifth term is AR to the power of 4 equals to p to the power of 5. Right? Anyone? Don't get this part? Okay, The common ratio R is such that 0 is between 0 and 1. Find the R in terms of P. Find R in terms of P. Look at what we have here. You have AR, P, AR, P. What do we need to sub in? How do we get rid of the A, which is not asked in the question? Yeah, make A the subject, right? From here, A is equals to 27p squared over R. Substitute this back into here. 27p squared over R to the power of 4 equals to p to the power of 5. Simplify and make R the subject. Go. Simplify and make R the subject. I can 看着我的意思是什么意思呢？
Just divide the whole thing.
Divide the whole thing how?
Yeah. Get rid of A and B's.
Huh?
AR4, AR2.
Oh, yeah, well, interesting. Oh, yeah. Could have done that too. Nah, Justin recommended, depending on which way you guys like, Justin recommended that you can do this divided by that straight. Then the A and the A will cut off already, what? Then 1 over R cubed is, this and this. And then you continue to simplify from there, which you will end up having the same answer anyway. Okay? If not, then you can use my method like this. Whichever way works better for you guys.
A and A can cut.
Yeah. His way is to divide both the equations fully. Burns myself. Now the challenge is not to break it. Basically, the whole equation divided by the whole equation. If you don't understand that, just do this normal method. Just do this normal method.
think then you should have.
Okay, then do that one then. Whichever one works for you, bro. It's the same. You just put the equals in the middle and then like cut, then cut. R is equals to or
Hey, help me.
what am I looking at actually?
I don't know. They cut this is A 不见掉。
It's not 0, it's 1 now, by the way.
Then how do you like?
Then the R bring up. Then here, okay, completely flip the whole thing. R cube equals to P cube over 27 and bring the cube root over. Yeah, because I follow the order ma. So that's why it's like yeah, how? Take core maths also. AR to the power 4 over AR is equal to P5 over 27P squared. Got. So you have R cube is equal to P to the power 3 over 27. R is equals to the cube root of P over 27, which simplifies to P over 3.
You write a line there, so I thought like I just think it went outside. I can't figure out how to.
Same thing. Okay. Hence, find in terms of P the sum to infinity. So sum to infinity is you just continue substituting into the formula, right? A over 1 minus R is the formula. This is sum to infinity formula, right? Again, you don't remember, never mind. You can always look back up. In this case here, A, we already have is here. A is 27 P square over R. Over 1 minus R. R we know is P over 3. So from here, simplify the rest of the equation. Oh, sorry, I'm supposed to substitute this R also. Because they want it in terms of P, right? How much is 9 times 27? Anyone not sure what's going on? Like actually it's really just substituting values in only. Which part? Which part? A is the A I got from here. R is the R from here. So A is 27t squared over R, right? I substitute this R back in also. 27t squared over R. This A. Okay, and 1 minus R. Then from here, I'm just doing basic algebra on here. How come it becomes divide 3 minus p over 3? It's because 1 is 3 over 3, ma. So 3 minus p over 3. 1 is 3 over 3. 3 over 3 minus p over 3 is just this. And then R, once again, I substitute back in one. So division is actually straight away just split and multiply. Split and multiply. Then the same thing here, cut, then times everything together, you get this in the end. Whatever we cannot finish today is your homework for next week. Next week I'm taking call already. Given that the sum to infinity is 81, find the value of p. Just this one very straightforward, lor. P over 3 minus p is equals to 81 because it's sum to infinity formula, right? And 243p is equals to 243 minus 281p. P it's all about equation formation only, just following formulas. Okay. Anyone having a hard time? Which part of following the formulas you're having a hard time with? In life, is it having a hard time? Never mind. You can share your sorrows with me. I got to do counseling service as well. Why? Why? What's up? What's wrong with the book? Bro, do you know why you failed 2 times? I'm sure you know why you failed 2 times. Why do you think you failed 2 times? Exactly, lor. It's not magic, man. It's like, Mom, I didn't go to the gym. I'm sorry, I'm not buff. It'd be like that, okay? But actually, like I told you guys before, all you have to do is pay attention in class, not just here, in your school class. If you can pay attention, you can actually like very close to pass the paper already. Just pay attention without practicing.
That old guys. You ask her, sing class with you.
The
old guy.
The old guy. Don't talk about her favorite teacher like that. Don't talk about her favorite teacher like that. She loves him, bro. Sometimes she message me saying, wow, Mr. Lee is such a great teacher. I don't know why I'm come here.
The best one, I know, but then when it comes to teaching, I cannot follow. Not so fun.
这个转了几块。
I look at father and he look at me, and then we go to the mouth.
Okay, last question, guys, before we go today. And then the rest of you do yourself at homework. The sum of the first 2 terms of the geometric progression is 9, and its sum to infinity is 36. Given that the terms of the progression are positive, find the common ratio. Let's talk about this first equation here. the sum of the first two terms of the geometric progression, what equation can we form? AR plus A. Yes, this is what I would put also, is equals to 9, the first two terms. Oh, and it's sum to infinity, but let's continue from here. Let's simplify this first. A bracket R plus 1 is equals to 9 in this case. I mean, you don't need to do the next part lah. You can or you don't need to also okay. Then its sum to infinity is 36. A over 1 minus R is equals to 36. From here, what do we have to do? Substitute only ma. What are we substituting? What are we substituting? Actually, I mean, she made it a little bit confusing lah, right? I mean, I wouldn't write it like that lah. It's, well, her thing is correct. The first two term is the first term plus the second term. A and A plus A over R, AR law, right? So in the end, I got 1 plus R, but it's the exact same thing. Let me tell you that it's the exact same thing. So from here, A is actually equals to 36 times 1 minus R, right? Wait, feels like this more confusing.
The subject and sum.
You should multiply 49 instead.
Yeah, lor. This is so confusing to do. But I mean, this is how I would have done it lah anyway. The suggestion part I'll do later. Then substitute into here, 36, 1 minus R. This is A times 1 plus R is equals to 9. There is a simpler way lah. Okay, actually, I don't really like this way also. Let's go with the simpler way.
It's how I break it.
Yeah, can. A equals to 9 over 1 plus R. But I don't like this way. The reason is because there is a fraction. I prefer not to do with fraction. There are of course multiple permutations that you can do to solve it lah, correct or not? So from here, 9 over 1 plus R is equals to 36, 1 minus R, right? Then bring the 36 here, bring the 1 plus R here. 9 over 36 is equals to 1 minus R times 1 plus R. 1 over 4 is equal to 1 minus R squared. Then from here you can solve already. R squared is equals to 3 over 4. R is equals to the square root of 3 over 4. And then because they say positive only, so this is actually just the positive value or not the negative. But like I said, there is another way lah. So what Justin suggested was from here, we just times the whole things by 4. Then you can equate both of them straight away already after that. Depending on which way you are more comfortable with lah, as always. Depending on which way you are more comfortable with. But in the end, your answer is going to be the same. Square root of 3 over 4. Okay? Anyone, any question on this part? It's more on your ability to form equations, which is very important regardless in maths or NMaths. But if you are able to form the equation, you should be, this topic should be very easy lah. What do you think?
No, this topic. Not formula in this one.
Really? I think so too. 容易吗这一题？
太简单了，motherfucker。
太简单啦。Okay. And that can be it for today. Guys, finish the homework. We'll discuss the rest of the questions next week. After the discussion, briefly touch vectors. And after vectors is everyone's favorite chapter. You guys teach already at DYDX in school? Not yet, man? You guys are where now? Vectors 啊，哇，我追上了。
说拜拜。
今晚帮我赢多多钱回来啊！拜拜。喂，是吧？